Ladies and gents, howdy. It's your boy Jermaine Event, main on MMA. Hit that like, hit that subscribe. Ladies and gentlemen, what I want to talk to you about today, briefly probably, we'll see, is this. The UFC announced that Alexandre Pantoja will be defending his Flyweight championship against Kai Asakura. Newcomer Asakura making his UFC debut in a title fight against now champion Alexandre Pantoja. Now, I was a little confused by this booking for a number of reasons. One, I am admittedly not the most familiar with Ryzen, but when I heard the signing, my thought went, oh, Manel Cape, right? Isn't Manel Cape Ryzen guy? And I remember thinking like it took Manel a few fights before he really got accustomed to the UFC fighting style. He got a little bit of a rough start, I would say. So then I was like, oh, maybe there might be a little bit of that here with him. And then I look in to a little bit of the history of Kai Asakura, because the thing is that I was pretty much unfamiliar with Kai altogether. And at first you see the brief highlights and it's just like soccer kicks to grounded opponents and things that you cannot do. Like most of his highlight reel are moves that are illegal. These are illegal techniques in the company that he is signed for and the company that he is fighting for a championship in his next fight. So then I look into the history of this guy and I look into the history of this guy and I see that he's had two previous fights with Manel Cape. Cape. I see that he's had two previous fights with Manel. The first fight being a split decision that he won, the second fight being a knockout loss to Manel. I feel like you have that fight perfectly set up. You have the trilogy fight between Manel and Kai right there. I don't understand why you would put Kai Asakura in this fight, other than the fact, I was just looking it up, he's got 1.4 million subscribers on YouTube. That could factor into it. I was looking at his Instagram and his Twitter and all that, and those are like 400, 500,000 followers on like each side. So I was like, that can't be it. That can't be enough to give a guy a title. Well, I mean, maybe it's Flyweight. It's Flyweight. I would imagine it's not that deep. Like, what does Kai Kara-France have? Like, how many followers does Kai? He might have a few. I think he might have quite a bit. I wouldn't doubt it. But other than the 1.4 million subscribers on YouTube, I honestly see no reason why you would book this fight. I think it kind of contradicts what the UFC has been preaching this whole time. And if they're preaching that the best fighters are in the UFC, then they're at least saying here that the best fighters are in the UFC except for Flyweight. Most of the best fighters are probably in Ryzen, because you give the title fight to Kai Asakura. We have Kai Kara-France, who just came off a first-round knockout of recent title challenger Steve Erceg. Kai Kara-France just walked through Steve Erceg. I think he was in a perfect spot to jump in and fight Pantoja. He's now ranked number 4. But instead we get unranked Kai Asakura in his very first UFC fight versus Alexandre Pantoja. In no UFC fights, they've seen enough to know that Kai Asakura deserves a title fight over Amir Albazi. He deserves the title fight. I mean, Albazi's fighting Moreno, but they could have booked the fight. You understand what I'm saying? Tatsuro Taira just lost, but I think I've seen more from him in the UFC. If the UFC has the best fighters, if that's what I'm to believe, if that's what they're telling me, if that's what they're selling me on, then Tatsuro Taira, who's just suffered his first defeat, would be better than Kai. I mean, I mean, I'm just saying logically. I'm not saying the MMA math works, but I mean, I don't know how you could sell Alex Perez fight right now or this Mateus Nicolau. I think he's fighting tonight, and I think he's going to lose to Asu Amabayev. Yeah, he's fighting Asu Amabayev. I think he's going to lose that fight. So, could have threw a Sue in there. All right. Could throw Manel in there, number 9. Fuck it. Tim Elliott. At this point, I'm just naming off people in the top 15 because why does no one in the top 15? Why are they not more deserving? Why isn't Kai Kara-France getting the fight? I feel like if anyone right now, Kai Kara-France should be fighting Alexandre Pantoja and not Kai Asakura. I think Kai Asakura is going to lose. I think Royval should be able to run through him. I did see that Kai Asakura does have some grappling. He has some submission finishes early in his career. You know, he can grapple, I guess, but I feel like we'll see that Pantoja is clearly the better grappler. He's been the better grappler against most of this UFC level guys already. He's just so gritty, so tough. I'm definitely going to roll with Pantoja to just take him down, grind out a win, man. We got Kai Asakura's most recent win is a 37-year-old Juan Archuleta, which that fight has not aged well because Juan Archuleta he's lost twice since then. He's on a 3-fight losing streak. So your highlight win that got you signed to the UFC has aged very poorly since that happened. It's aged very poorly since we've seen that happen. And how does this guy lose? Well, he lost. He got knocked out by Kyoji Horiguchi. Got knocked out in 2020. He lost, I guess, via TKO to Manel Cape in 2019. He got finished due to punches against Ji-Hoon Moon. All right, so he's been stopped. All right. Only one of his losses wasn't a stoppage. Out of his 4 losses, only one was a decision loss. But he's been knocked out, stopped. I mean to laugh here, but I think Pantoja will just be better on the night. I don't think this fight makes any sense at all. All right. I don't think this fight makes any sense at all. I think if anything, this fight was supposed to be Kai Kara-France. They called the wrong person. Oh shit, he's on the phone. Konnichiwa. It's too late. We're already having the conversation. We're talking to the wrong fucking Kai. He's supposed to fight Manel. He's supposed to fight Manel. We called the wrong goddamn Kai. Kai Kara-France, the guy that's just coming off that explosive knockout against Steve Erceg, looked amazing. That guy, he was supposed to fight for the belt. No. This guy is on the phone. Hi. And I'm like, Yeah? Oh? I'm saying random ass little expressions, basic little Japanese expressions. Nah, they called the wrong nigga. I think they meant to call Kai Kara-France, but see, it's KKF. So Kai Asakura naturally would come up first. I think this was an accidental phone call. I believe this was an accidental phone call because this fight makes no sense to me. And I feel like Pantoja is going to dominate Kai Asakura, but with 1.4 million subscribers on YouTube, maybe this could get Pantoja a pretty penny in return on pay-per-view buys. So congrats to Alexandre Pantoja on that. I think they're lining one up for him, but he should definitely fight Kai Kara-France. All right. I see no reason why well, I guess if Amir Albazi and Brandon Moreno are fighting each other, then I guess one of those guys would be the number 1 contender. But Kai could fight right now if Kai Asakura, who's unranked, is getting a title fight. Kai Kara-France should definitely be able to fight right now. But let me know what you guys think in the comments. Do you think it's fair that Kai Asakura, unranked UFC fighter, is getting his UFC debut as a title fight over the likes of anyone else currently at Flyweight? Anyone. Put Charles Energy Johnson in that motherfucker. He's on a streak right now in the UFC. Let me know what you guys think about that in the comments. Hit that like, hit that subscribe, and I will see you guys when I see you. I'll holla.